Alright everyone, welcome to the next video. This video is absolutely essential for the correct way to set up your Airbnb listing after having your property set up, staged, and photographed. So every strategy I'm about to share is exactly what I've done in my business, covering everything from copywriting to listing descriptions, photo order, cancellation policies, instant booking, even some insider SEO tips. Like I said, these are the same techniques I use across my entire portfolio, and I'm going to show you exactly how I do it. So without further ado, let's get into it. So here's what we're going to cover: copywriting, listing descriptions, listing titles, amenities, photo order, cancellation policies, instant booking settings, cleaning fees and pet fees, understanding the Airbnb algorithm, and then at the end, I'm just going to go through a new listing setup with you so you can see firsthand. This one's a jam-packed video, but don't worry, I'm going to lay everything out for you as simple as possible. All you have to do is just go through this video. When it's time to actually list your Airbnb, just go through the video one more time, and that's it. You'll be good to go. All right, so first up is copywriting. Now, if you don't know what copywriting means, it is simply just writing for persuasive marketing. So you are writing for the intent of selling someone or promoting them to take a specific action. That's it. For us, this is just basically all the text below the photos on our Airbnb listing, as our goal is for a prospective guest to read it and then proceed to book our property, right? So when it comes to copywriting for your Airbnb listing, you've got some options. You can use my templates. I've included downloadable templates below, which have been tried and tested across my business. You can write your own if you have experience. If you prefer to put a personal touch on your listing, you can craft your own copywriting, or you can leverage ChatGPT. Starting in 2023, many have began using ChatGPT to generate listing copywriting with some pretty good success, to be honest. So my take is to start with my templates and then refine them using ChatGPT to tailor them perfectly to your listing. So pause on that for 1 second. I'll show you what that looks like in a minute, which now takes us to our first form of copy, listing descriptions. So there are a few must-haves in listing descriptions, and the first one is you want to highlight what the home offers. So you need to mention essential features guests need to know, like bed size, washer and dryer access, high-speed Wi-Fi. This is stuff they will likely need to know, and sometimes it's hard to capture it in the photographs, right? Like for corporate travel, high-speed Wi-Fi is actually important. They need to know the upload speed, right? So you, of course, can't portray that in the photos. Next is you want to make sure you showcase standout features if you have any. So sell the story by describing unique aspects like city views, patios, outdoor fireplaces, anything that your listing has that others potentially would not. Now, one thing to point out is if you don't have any very particular standout features, it's important you still try and sell the story with something. Do you have hardwood floors throughout the whole house? Do you have brick walls? Do you have a brick wall that goes across one side of the house? Anything like that? Maybe a big balcony. And if you don't, it's not the end of the world. When there's nothing stand out about my units, I usually will just talk about the location, stone's throw to downtown, 5 minutes to local eateries, famous eateries. You can make up anything. You just have to sell the story. That's all. And then, like I just said, you want to mention proximity to attractions. So you want to highlight how close your property is to multiple popular destinations. Go on Google and type in top 10 destinations in X city. Pick the top 5 or 6, and then actually write out in your listing 5 minutes to here, 10 minutes to here, because it's very likely that people traveling are going to want to check these places out anyways. And this can sometimes be a selling point. They're like, oh, it's only 5 minutes. This is perfect. I was going to stay at the other listing, but this is only 5 minutes. I was going to take the bus. So perfect. I'm going to stay here. Lastly, and most importantly, you want to make sure it is scannable text. People like to go down the rabbit hole and talk about Airbnb this, Airbnb that, but at the end of the day, this is marketing, and marketing principles are universal and they still apply no matter what. Scannable text will convert better than large paragraphs that bury details and go on forever, and no one's going to read all of it. So structure your description for easy reading. Most guests skim text after viewing photos. Not only does this convert better, but you also avoid burying important details like pet fees that might otherwise be missed, which could lead to misunderstandings or negative first impressions right off the bat. Like if you have a Bible down there, and then somewhere in that Bible it says $25 pet fee per day, or guest photo ID required, anything like that, and they book without seeing it, it's not the end of the world. It just can leave a negative first impression right off the bat, which you obviously don't want. Now that you know the basics of listing descriptions, we're going to go back here to my take, and I'm going to show you the best way to take my listing and then refine it with ChatGPT yours. So here is the listing description full template. As usual, this is 100% free for you. Just click file, make a copy, and it's yours, good to go. Now this is the exact same way that I do mine. And this is what I mean by scannable. Key features and highlights. Prime location, 2 minutes to here, 5 minutes to here. The AWCO difference, you can change this to whatever your company name is. No hidden fees, no checkout chores, 24/7 guest support. Guest access, free high-speed Wi-Fi, self-check-in, instant communication, centralized AC and heating. And then at the bottom, guest verification to stay may be required, and then the pet fee. So we'll touch base on the extra fees a bit later. So when I say start with my template and run it through ChatGPT to tailor to yours, this is what I mean. So this, the scannable text, I think it makes the most sense for you to just copy and then just change to stuff that is relative to your listing. For example, if you have a king bed, type king bed. If you have 3 bathrooms, type 3 bathrooms. Just make this yours. Add every feature, highlight, and then get rid of the stuff that isn't part of your listing. But copy like this, and down here is what you want to run through ChatGPT, brainstorm with it, and then make it yours. This is also perfect because in the future, this is very easy to train someone to do too. You just tell them to copy and paste this for one of your assistants, and then tell them to do what I'm about to tell you. So let me show you. So we're just going to copy this, come on over to ChatGPT, paste it. So instead of a panoramic view of the city or a daily backdrop, make this tell a story about something else. My home is a 2-bedroom luxury apartment, a stone's throw from downtown and major attractions. So just punch in whatever your unit has, what it's about, its standout features, whatever, and just start going back and forth with ChatGPT for a few minutes till you find something that is good for you. And look how good that was right off the bat. Step into your next unforgettable stay, a luxury 2-bedroom apartment, perfectly nestled just a stone's throw from downtown and the city's top attractions. Imagine starting your day with a stroll to your favorite coffee shop, catching a live show, or exploring local hotspots, all within minutes of your doorstep. Whether you're here for business or leisure, a home is your great getaway to the vibrant pulse of the city. It's pretty good. And then you can just kind of work with it, go back and forth, mold it into what you think is perfect. Simply just take that text, copy it back into the listing template I gave you, and then change the scannable text at the bottom, and then you're totally good to go. It's perfect. And then at the bottom here, just do it again. Next on the menu is listing titles. Now this is something a lot of beginners actually get wrong, so I'm going to do my best to break it down for you and explain why as well. So your title is one of the first things potential guests will see, so it's crucial to include details that spark interest and encourage them to explore further. So they're going to see or hear a photo, it's going to catch their eye, and then they're immediately going to scan down and read the text. Now I know this is Airbnb, but like I said, this is still a marketing campaign. This is a sales funnel one way or another. There's a specific way to convert them off the page of multiple listings onto yours, and then convert them from your page to clicking the purchase button or clicking book now. And this one's low-hanging fruit that for some reason is misused. So what you'll see a lot of on Airbnb is just a bunch of words as the title, and half it ends up getting cut off anyway. Like, for example, modern city getaway. Stay at the and you don't even know what they're saying unless you actually click on the listing itself, right? This literally shows nothing about the listing. It tells them absolutely nothing. They know they're in the modern city. They've searched for that city. Stay at the what? Now, on the other hand, look at the good title: city views, king bed, gym, free parking. Now, maybe they're a family and private parking is a absolute need for them. They have to get it. Even if 20 of the listings on that first page have private parking, yours says private parking. And they're like, oh, I need that. Click. Oh, a gym. Perfect. Click. Oh, I do want a king bed. Click. Do you see where I'm going with this? So, as I said, when guests browse listings, they'll notice your photo first, followed by the title. Make sure your title provides valuable details, either what you suspect the guests are looking for or a standout feature. For example, parking is mandatory for many and is hard to find in downtown areas, or something like a rooftop patio or skyline view that other listings just simply don't have. This is low-hanging fruit, guys, to increase your conversion rates. You just really need to put on the perspective of the guests, their point of view, to actually see what I mean here. So I'm going to show you on Airbnb itself so you can get an idea. So first I'm going to show you some not so good ones. For example, Swanky Oasis, Little Olive, Historic Oak Lawn, or Discover Charlotte from a Radiant Home with a what? Now I do want to say quickly, this is just optimization. If you don't have a perfect title, but you're an amazing host. You have amazing reviews. You can still do good, very good. And as always, supply demand reigns king. You don't even need a title if there's not enough houses for travelers coming in, right? Now look at some of these. Central with pool and gym, free parking, walkable. Sounds perfect. Vibrant king bed in A-plus location with full kitchen. Perfect. These are things that people want, and when you pair that with a great photo, they're going to click in to explore further. Next up is amenities, and these are very crucial for your Airbnb listing. To put it simply, the more amenities you have, the less chance that you have of being filtered out when a guest is searching for a place to stay. This means more visibility, which means more bookings, which of course leads to more revenue. So, as I said, offering more amenities reduces the chance of your property being filtered out of guest searches, leading to higher visibility. This directly translates to more bookings and increased revenue. Key amenities you can purchase behind the obvious essentials include a king-size bed, a crib, dedicated workspaces, coffee and coffee makers, hair dryers, irons, features that guests often filter for when searching for a place to stay. You wouldn't really think of at first. Amenities can make or break a booking decision. Trust me, invest in the small items needed to check off as many amenity boxes as possible. It's worth it in the long run. Let me actually show you why from a guest's point of view. When guests are searching for a place to stay on Airbnb, they'll often filter out things that they need, and it basically always starts with amenities. So, for example, if someone is looking for a place to stay in your city and you don't have a dedicated workplace, even if you don't have a hair dryer or an iron and they click that, then you won't pop up at all in their search. King size beds, cribs, these are all amenities that are right here. They don't even have to do any searching. So if someone's coming for corporate travel, they need a dedicated workspace and an iron, and you don't have an iron, you just potentially lost a 3-month stay for, an executive because you didn't have a $20 iron. Or a girl goes, oh, I do need a hair dryer, clicks that. And just like that, you didn't pop up because of a $10 hair dryer. You know what I mean? One of the biggest ones I want to show you is actually a crib. If you look at the bottom right, it says show 1,000 places, and you click crib, and now it says show 590. Think about how crazy that is. A pack and play crib is like $50, and you just cut the visibility in half, and half the hosts you don't even realize. Now, while we're on the crib topic, I want to show you a little trick that I do pretty much every single time I have a new listing up, is I usually just put the crib down as an amenity and then click guest must request it as availability. So just keep the amenity up, and then the first person that requests it, you just buy it. So you get the visibility, and then you could just get the crib whenever the time comes for $50 or whatever. Hopefully that gave you some perspective though. The crib alone brought it down to $590. I'm sure if you clicked crib, iron, dedicated workspace, king bed, the stuff that you should have and you will have, it would probably drop down to $400 or something. So you just cut 60%, over 60% probably, just from having a few key amenities. So super important, guys. We will be talking about photo order next, and more particularly the first 5 photos, because the first 5 photos is what appears when you first click the listing at the very top, right? So you see how we're kind of going through the funnel here? So the first 5 photos are the first thing guests see when they click on your listing and will 100% make or break the decision to explore further. The goal is to guide guests through your property, showing as much as possible while presenting it in the best light. The order they should go is as follows. First is hero shot, the absolute best photo from your photo shoot, and it usually ends up being the living room in most cases, with a great angle of the TV, the wall behind it, the furniture, something like that. Now remember, this is also the photo that they see on the initial search page, right above the title. So not only is this the first photo they see in your actual listing, this is the first photo they see of your listing in general on Airbnb. This is the first thing that catches their eye before they look at the title, before they even decide to click and go down the rabbit hole. So this photo, for the most part, 90%, is what makes people actually click your listing. Once they click your listing, they can see the other 5 photos, and the second one you want to put is where they're going to sleep. So a photo of the bedroom in its best light, usually of a king bed with natural light coming in from the window, something like that. Third would be the kitchen, a photo capturing as much of the kitchen space as possible so they can see the stainless steel, etc. right off the bat. Fourth is the dining room, again painting a bit of a story here. A photo of the dining room allowing them to see where they will eat, how many seats are there, etc. And then lastly is optional. I usually choose a second photo of the living room on the complete opposite angle as of lately, But if you have a really good bathroom shot and it's updated and looks great, then you can totally throw that in there too. Like if you have this big walk-in shower or something like that. One thing I do want to mention is if you have a standout feature, make it your second photo and push the rest down one spot. For example, a patio with a skyline view, a large fireplace with seating and lights, or an in-ground pool would obviously take priority. Now, this maybe isn't the best example, but as you can see, you click right one time, and now you have something that other places maybe wouldn't have. They have the barbecues, the pool behind it, so on and so forth. So it's worth putting as the second. One thing worth mentioning is don't waste photo slots on close-ups of decor or light fixtures, stuff like that. They don't drive bookings, even though some photographers love including them. I don't know why, it's just kind of like a trend for Airbnb. Even if I get these sent to me, I still take them out. Maybe I'll keep one. You want to focus on showcasing the full space. Your goal is to present a livable, welcoming property, giving guests a clear understanding what they are actually purchasing. The more clarity they have about the space, the more likely they are to book. They don't need a close-up photo of a pillow or a nightstand. This also just ends up creating clutter in the actual listing. When they scroll down, there's 70 photos. There's just a bunch of close-ups and random stuff that doesn't help them make a decision. If you do include close-ups, make sure they provide useful information for the guests, like showing them a fully stocked cutlery, well-equipped kitchen, or other practical features that would help them understand the property better that would actually be missed in the full space photos. Let me show you what this actually looks like to give you a better perspective. So this right here is one of my listings. And as you can see, I'm only providing photos that actually show the space in its best light. I don't have a million photos, just the ones that matter. The only close-ups I have are things that help them make a decision. I wrote, we have a fully stocked kitchen, so it's in my best interest to show them the fully stocked kitchen. They have a spice rack, they have a coffee maker, they really can cook here, right? We have cups, plates, but outside of that, there's nothing in here. That's a pointless close-up. The only one I have is a towel, but I want them to see that the towels are on the bed like that. Do you know what I mean? One big pro tip I have for you is to enhance your hero shots with small tweaks like hiding cords or displaying Netflix on the TV, adding string lights to outdoor spaces, stuff like that. Keep it honest, like don't lie, but definitely do what you can to improve visual appeal. Because at the end of the day, guests are booking your listing. They're not booking your property. They don't know your property. The only understanding they have of it is your listing. So it's your job to make it as visually appealing as possible. You can just hire someone on Fiverr for $10 to perfect that one key image that's going to convert the guests into actually seeing your listing. I always make sure my hero shot stands out. I declutter it. I put Netflix on the TV, stuff like that. As you start to gain more experience in this business, you can also take this a step further and start doing things during the setup. For example, you could paint a wall a distinct color, something vibrant to catch their attention, stuff like that. But for now, don't add any additional operational work like that for your team. Just enhance the photo you have to show it in its best light. Next on the menu is cancellation policies. This one's short and sweet, so I'll just jump into it. So cancellation policies are crucial for your bottom line. I recommend using Airbnb's strict cancellation policy always, and here's why. If a guest books your property months in advance or even weeks in advance, you've officially secured those nights at a premium far out pricing. Very premium pricing. This is where a lot of your revenue comes in your big numbers. If you allow them to cancel closer to date, it is virtually impossible to secure those nights at a similar nightly rate. It's likely you won't even get them at half the rate. You're not a hotel. If a guest books, the dates are blocked and completely invisible for anyone else to find your listing. You need to actually utilize the strict cancellation policy to protect your revenue. So once someone's booked, no one else can see this listing if they search. It's no longer visible. And then if they cancel, now it's visible again, way closer to date, and the price is now cut in half. So you just lost a lot of money just by allowing them to cancel. And here's the thing. Some people talk about ethics, stuff like that, to allow them to cancel. And it's like every time you book on Airbnb, they offer you guest insurance, travel insurance if anything goes wrong. It's a cheap add-on, and everyone says no. And then at the very end, they go, oh, I need to cancel. I'm sorry, you can't cancel. So what the strict cancellation policy actually is guests get a full refund if they cancel within 48 hours of booking and at least 14 days before check-in. You can read the full policy. There's a little bit of extra details when they book within a 14-day window, stuff like that. You can check it out when you actually launch your listing. But here's the thing, guys. I've tried out other cancellation policies. I test to see if it would increase my visibility. No matter what, the strict cancellation policy is the best. It doesn't affect anything negatively, even though Airbnb says it does. They're just trying to push you into a more flexible option because they're just trying to appease the guests. Which leads me to this. Airbnb has been encouraging hosts to adopt a more flexible cancellation policy for years. While it's possible that in the future they might reduce visibility or add other challenges for hosts with strict policies, as of now, the strict cancellation policy remains the most effective option without negatively impacting your revenue. It actually increases your revenue by a lot. On Airbnb, they'll show you a message when you're doing your listing saying, "Are you sure strict cancellation policy tend to get less bookings, blah, blah, blah." It's not true. It's just them trying to encourage hosts to adopt a more flexible cancellation policy. It has no negative impact. It actually has a positive impact. So just disregard that, click yes, and then keep going with your strict cancellation policy. Next up are the booking settings, but more particularly instant booking itself. So in today's market, you pretty much have to go with instant booking now. There is just too many downfalls to not using the instant booking setting from both an Airbnb platform standpoint itself and then also just from a marketing standpoint. So first is just the very fact of having the instant booking setting on increases your search ranking just like that. So enabling instant book enhances your listing's visibility in the Airbnb algorithm, making it easier for guests to find you. So just that one setting helps your search rating. Second is it reduces booking barriers. So simplify the booking process to attract more guests by removing unnecessary steps like messaging back and forth. And this is what I mean on the marketing side. Just overall, the less hoops to jump through for a guest to book with you, the better. That's a fact. If they already have their credit card out and they already want to book with you, then don't make it harder. While you can include a pre-booking message they must read and reply to before booking with you, it's not foolproof in deterring problem guests. Good judgment and vigilance are your best tools. I would only consider this in known party cities, etc. Now, people have different opinions on this, but this is mine. I think that if someone is planning a party or someone is planning to do something untruthful with your Airbnb and they're already plotting it, then I highly doubt that a quick pre-booking message is enough of a barrier to deter them. So I don't think this actually mitigates risk. You mitigate risk operationally. You use your noise monitors, you use your Ring cameras, you capture the stuff right away, you don't let it slide. This would maybe make sense in Nashville or something, or Scottsdale, Arizona, where you'd like to leave a pre-booking message just regarding parties, stuff like that, fines associated with it. If they let in more people than they say are staying there, stuff like that, there's going to be fines. Other than that, just don't even use the pre-booking messages. And the reason being is Airbnb actually has a setting to only allow instant book capabilities if they have a good track record with Airbnb already. So rely on Airbnb's review system to assess guest history for instant booking and just use your judgment for the first time guest. It's the best you can do. It's not foolproof. And then this is what I mean. So instant book is on. Only allow guests who have stayed on Airbnb without issues can use instant book, and then ones that haven't had a good track history can just inquire and they have to message you and you can accept or decline. Feel free to experiment if you disagree, but I think this is correct. Next, we're going to talk about cleaning fees. So cleaning fees are a big concern for guests as of recent. There's a pretty big uproar on cleaning prices as a whole. They were just getting too high. People were trying to use them as a profit center. And because of that, recently Airbnb has tweaked its search algorithm to slightly favor listings with lower fees. Now, me and others experimented a lot on how this affected our revenue. I tried keeping it as is. I tried baking the cleaning fee right into the total price of my nightly rate. I tried a bunch of things, to be honest with you. And to strike the right balance between visibility and revenue, the strategy I'm about to show you has proven most effective in my entire network. So for your standard cleaning fee, you want to set this to 1.3 to 1.5 times your actual cleaning costs to cover expenses while remaining competitive. Now, when I say covering expenses, I mostly just mean cleaning supplies. One thing I will note is do a quick check of your market of the units with the same size as yours. 1.3 to 1.5 is a perfect ballpark, but still do a check and make sure you're not way out there or way too cheap, you know? And then you want to implement a short stay cleaning fee. So for stays of 2 nights or fewer, Set the cleaning fee at your break-even cost to attract short-term bookings without incurring losses. So for short stays, you break even, but you get a boost in visibility. And from 3 days onwards, your cleaning fee will cover your expenses as well. Next up is pet fees. So pet fees are an important thing to think about. Airbnb lets you add pet fees to the calendar, just like cleaning fees, so they are part of the nightly rate, but this isn't the best way to make the most money. Here's a better idea. At the bottom of your other things to note section in the Airbnb description, it's also available in the template. Write this. We are happy to welcome pets at our Airbnb, subject to size limitations. To ensure a smooth and enjoyable stay for everyone, please let us know in advance if you will be bringing a pet. Failure to disclose a pet may lead to the cancellation of your reservation. The following additional per pet cleaning fee applies. 1 to 4 nights, $25 per night. 5 to 29 nights, $200 flat rate. 30 plus nights, $300 flat rate. This has worked the best for me and is the best way to secure the most amount of revenue when actually accepting pets. Now, this is what it looks like at a high level. Very easy ways to increase your revenue just from pets. $1,500 just from pets. All you have to do is in the message thread with the guest, request money, reason why, pet fee, total cost, 25, whatever it is, and click request. That's it. This tracker is something that you'll get access to in the Alliance Premium community. But even if you don't have this, you can just make an Excel sheet to keep track. And a great thing about this method is even if they don't pay you, if you contact Airbnb, they'll very likely just pay it out for you on their own, the actual platform. So that's pretty much it for pets. Just make sure at the bottom of the listing template, you just copy this and add it to yours at the bottom of the other things to note. That's it, guys. Now, next up is the Airbnb algorithm. You absolutely need to understand the Airbnb algorithm and the SEO if you want to succeed. The first thing we're going to be talking about is factors that determine first page impressions. There is something crazy like 60 or 70% of guests never even make it past the first page. So in terms of ranking and SEO, this is the biggest bang for your buck. There are a few other factors we'll talk about in a second, but the 80-20 rule strongly applies here. Studies by large analytic companies such as IntelliHost confirm these two have the biggest impact on first page impressions. 5-star reviews, so your overall rating and number of 5-star reviews, and competitive pricing. So listings priced lower than similar ones in your market are prioritized in search results. I'm not suggesting you undercut the market on pricing or panic every time you get a 4-star review. The goal here is just to give you insight into what actually drives the algorithm. For example, if bad reviews have impacted your listing, maybe consider relisting and just starting fresh. If you have dates that are unbooked a week out, maybe just lower your prices to boost your visibility. I'm just trying to give you perspective. And then how these would work in unison is maybe a listing with a 4.9 rating is priced very high. But since the 4.7 rated listing is starting to price them a bit lower, it will get its chance on the first page. Do you know what I mean? And they pretty much have it this way. So the less star rating you have, the more you're kind of forced to cut your rating and then thus your revenue to actually get those bookings and those first page impressions. That's what they're trying to do. So like I said, don't go cutting your prices or freaking out because you got a bad review or anything like that. I'm just giving you perspective. There are some other things that boost your Airbnb listings SEO. Some of it we've already discussed, so here's what works best. Minimum stay requirements. So minimum nightly stay requirements result in increased visibility. Offer maximum amenities. Listings with more amenities appeal to a wider audience, improving visibility. Maintain a 100% response rate. Always reply quickly to guest inquiries to keep your response rate at 100%. If your response rate starts lowering, the algorithm will take that into consideration and start favoring other listings that do have that 100%. Like we said, Instant Book, turning on Instant Book increases your search rating immediately, and avoiding cancellations. So only cancel a booking if it's absolutely unavoidable. If you have host cancellations, the algorithm will kick you down a notch, and just like the response rate, and then start putting other hosts with 0% host cancellation rate in front of you. Honorable mention, superhost status. So of course, strive to achieve superhost status by meeting Airbnb's criteria, which is maintaining high ratings, consistent bookings, and reliable hosting practices. While this isn't a make or break factor, individual listing ratings matter more these days. It does provide a slight boost to your search ranking and enhances your credibility with guests. So definitely get this if you can. Next is new Airbnb listing setup. So I'm just going to go through this with you very quickly. This way you at least know what it looks like before you do it yourself. And I'll also touch base on a couple things that weren't mentioned before, like check-in instructions, stuff like that. Next, it's going to be an apartment, entire place. Sure. Make sure you do have the guests, bedrooms, beds, bathrooms. This part I kind of just fly through, to be honest with you, because you just fix it after. Just going to upload 5 photos here. As I was saying, just skip this. Temporary title. Make sure you put this high, just for the time being, so you can actually set up your listing. Keep the new listing promotion on. It's a good SEO boost at the very beginning because you have no reviews, no nothing. 10's fine, 20's fine. We'll discuss that later on. New video. Later. You basically just want to get through this as fast as you can so you can actually go through your listing A to Z and make sure it's perfect. Congratulations. All right, guys. Now we are in the listing editor, and this is where it starts. So you just want to get through that as fast as you can because you can edit everything right here, anyways. So click your create your photo tour. Airbnb makes you do this now. I don't know why. Just let it do its thing, and then you can customize it as you wish. So just set the photos up like I showed you. Next, we're going to go to the title. Charlotte Unit Number 1. All right, so I have a scannable title. It shows you exactly what you need to see. The inner name is just for you. It's just for you to see on the inside, so don't worry about that. Save. Apartment, rental unit, entire place, how many floor, pricing per night. We'll adjust that on Price Labs. Adjust this on Price Labs. Number of guests, make sure you have this right. Description, now here's where you're going to copy the template in. So you literally just do this. Copy, run it through ChatGPT, go to here, paste, that's it. Your property, paste. That, save. Guest access, save. And this all there is, guys. It's really easy. There you go. Then if you click view, you can see it exactly like mine. Next up is amenities. Like I said, you really want to go through them all and make sure you check off as many as possible. Dryer, yep. Essentials, yep. Heating, yep. And you just keep going through until you've checked off every single thing you can think of that you have. Next is the location. So just use ChatGPT to generate a neighborhood description for my Airbnb listing. There you go. You can tweak this how you want. You can keep working with ChatGPT, but that's how I do it. Neighborhood description, save. Getting around, same thing. You can go to ChatGPT. Next is booking settings. So this is what we just spoke about. Good track record. Use instant book. You can add the custom message if you want. For example, please let me know a little bit about your trip and when you plan to check in. I don't personally use this. As I said, it's up to you. Just gonna save that and move on. Make sure the good track record's on though. House rules. So we want to allow pets. I only let a max of 2 pets. Disallow events. Of course, no smoking or vaping. Of quiet hours, yes. I've always done 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. No number of guests. Check in and check out time. Always do 4 p.m. and always do 10 a.m. If they do want to have a late checkout, you can just let them know that you offer late checkout for an additional fee, blah, blah, blah. Good to go. For the additional rules, just go to the template in the school community and just copy and paste this. If you have anything else you want to add, please do. This is just a very basic one to get you started. If your apartment has a large cost, if they lose keys, then for sure add that, stuff like that. Yeah, just copy it, put it right in. You're good to go there. Next is guest safety, safety considerations. You pretty much want to say no to all of this unless you really do have one of these, but usually the answer is no. You do have to describe the area of the security camera. This is a silly one, but it's like a super easy refund for the guest if this is undisclosed. So just simply write where it is. Guest access. Guest must climb stairs. Yes, you want to make sure that you have this clicked if there is stairs, because if a guest reaches out to Airbnb and says the stairs are too steep or something like that, which is hilarious, but it does happen, and you don't have that clicked by policy, Airbnb policy, they might be eligible for a refund. So just cover your bases. And just go through this and just select whatever's true and whatever's not true. Cancellation policy, strict. See how it says this? So this isn't true. Long-term stay, strict. Switch to strict. Add a custom link, so you can just name this whatever you want. Charlotte 120. Next, we have the arrival guide. Directions, so you're just going to quite literally tell them how to get there. That's really all there is to it here. If the parking is behind the house or on a different street to get there, this is just your chance to just give them the directions on how to get there easily. Check-in details, smart lock. Your designated smart lock code will be sent to the day of check-in at 10 a.m. Save. Next is check-in instructions. This isn't as much of a big deal for just houses because it's pretty straightforward. You just drive into the parking lot in the directions and then type in the smart code and walk in. But for apartments, this becomes a must-have, especially if it's not very easy to find the way into your building. So for example, you could tell them how to get to the front door of the building and then add a photo of the front door. And then you could tell them how to get to your floor level and then have a photo of whatever. But the easier you can make the check-in instructions, the less you're going to have some guests reaching out to you not knowing how to get there. So as your business grows, you can use other things like Google Docs or PDFs or certain apps that have streamlined check-in instructions. But for now, just use this. It's perfect. It's all you have to do. Wi-Fi details, just that. House manual. So this is just for very particular stuff to that house. If there's a certain way to use a thermostat, or if the TV has two remotes, do you know what I mean? Anything that is very particular to that house that a guest coming in just wouldn't know off the top of their head. So if you don't have anything, you can just leave it blank or just add your Wi-Fi details there too, just for now. House rules is the same. Check out instructions. If anything, maybe ask your cleaner where they would like the trash. And if you do have keys for something like a garage or it's an apartment and you have keys to the community gym or something like that, just make sure that you have a designated spot for them to go, just so you don't lose them. That's about it for the checkout instructions. After that, you go to calendar and then you click on this calendar. And then you're just going to scroll down and go to fees and then type in your cleaning fee, whatever it is, $100. And your short stay would be, let's say, 70. Remember, we're not going to do the pet fee here. We're going to do it on the actual description and then get them manually. And that's really all there is to it. You just make sure the photos are good. And then, yeah, the next step would be if you had a software, you connect your pricing software to it, stuff like that. But this is the bare bones on how to actually just get your Airbnb on the platform. It's very easy. So we're at the end of another video. As usual, guys, let's get to work. That was everything from A to Z on how to set your Airbnb listing up for success, as well as optimization tips and tricks. If you just follow this video, I can guarantee you will have a competitive Airbnb listing. You have my listing descriptions, you have my house rules, you have everything. We're on the same page now. In the next video, we're going to talk about some of the software you need as a host. As usual, guys, take action, crush it. I'll see you in the next video.